And here we go. We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be normal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Doubling up. Roger, roll, planet.
Water towers fly! Yes!
Echo down to nominal.
Fighting downside ST off. Bring in ST off. Off. It's orange!
45! Oh my god!
Decollage.
Look at this!
Put that in the big bag,
343 unfolds to go. Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
This methane would be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You dead? Sure. We don't need any more of these.
Good evening. Do not adjust your television sets, or I guess in this case, computer monitors and other screen devices. You are half looking live here at the Falcon 9 rocket on Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida, where SpaceX is set to launch the Starlink 6-27 mission with another 23 Starlink V2 mini satellites. And again, that is not a problem with your screen or the camera. It appears that half of Vandenberg decided to show up, as the bottom half of the rocket is currently encapsulated, as you can see, with fog. But what you can't see, but you can hear, hopefully, with the 5x5s, is me. I am your host for this evening. I am Sawyer Rosenstein. And joining me tonight from the field, dealing with the crazy humidity, is Max Evans. Max, how are you doing out there?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us on this very sticky and humid Space Coast evening. I think it's currently holding at 90% humidity, so you can almost go swimming in the air, which is always fun.
Yep, I hope you brought your knife with you to cut through it so we can see the rocket. And then joining us tonight on his commentary debut is Mr. Ryan Weber. Ryan, welcome to the NASA Spaceflight Airwaves. Everyone in chat, please give him a big welcome. And how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm ready to watch some Starlinks lift off from Slick 40 tonight. How's everyone else doing?
I mean, anytime there's a rocket on the launch pad ready to go, I think it is a fantastic day. So let's get to it, and nothing to it but to do it. And let's start with a quick look at what this mission is tonight. So I will hand it over to you, Ryan, for a look at 6-27. After I quickly mention, by the way, I apologize to Kevin Michael Reed, the main man pushing the buttons in the back channel, along with Jay Keegan, both of who are helping to operate this stream for you tonight. Now, Ryan, 6-27, what's it all about?
Well, tonight we're looking at launching 23 Starlink V2 mini satellites to a 285 by 293 kilometer orbit at 43 degree inclination. And for recovery, we're looking at just read the instructions for the booster to land on. And Bob's going to be picking up the fairings 629 kilometers downrange. So.
Yep, and this is another of those 23 Starlink V2 mini satellites, which is kind of the same as what we've been seeing, especially even with the one earlier in the week, right?
Yeah, it's been pretty much the same. They seem to have it down the number they want to launch on each of these flights. So
there you go, upping it from 22 to 23. And the other thing SpaceX has been upping is the number of flights per each booster. On the last mission, we saw Super Sooty 1058 mark its historic 18th launch and landing. Tonight, Max, who do we have taking the stage hidden behind that fog?
So standing tall over on Slick 40 right now is Falcon 9 of Block 5 booster B1073-11. So it's kind of weird to say that it feels kind of blasé for a booster to only be on its 11th flight now, but I guess that's just how far SpaceX has come with the Falcon 9 fleet. But of these 11 missions, I will list them here. Everybody, deep breath. Starlink 4-15, SES-22, Starlink 426, Starlink 435, Hokuto R Mission 1, Amazonas Nexus, CRS-27, Starlink 6.2, Starlink 511, and Starlink 6-12. And the last time this booster flew was 65 days ago. So not the most rapid of turnaround, but considering SpaceX still, I mean, their turnaround time for any booster nowadays, especially for their higher flown boosters, is pretty remarkable, considering what they have to go through before each flight.
But you were going to pass out running out of breath there, especially with the thick, humid air out there.
Yeah, no kidding. It is genuinely, I don't want to say disgusting, but it is very, very sticky out here tonight. But the bugs have not been that bad yet, so we have that going for us.
Which is nice. But yeah, that's, again, it's so weird going, oh, it's just a Dash 11. You know, no big deal, even though it really is impressive that another booster in the double digits passing the 10 flight, which I remember the first booster went to 10 flights. We were going, holy cow, that's crazy. And now, oh, it's just a Dash 11.
Yeah, I remember the first booster to fly 10 times. I think it was either B-1060 or 1058. I mean, we were all holding our breath, hoping nothing was going to happen. And here we are at 1058, holding at currently 18 flights successfully. So will they push beyond 20? Maybe 25? Who knows at this point, honestly. But if there ever was a problem to go wrong in flight with a Falcon 9 beyond 18, 19, 20 flights, I'm hoping and praying and crossing my fingers that it would not be the beloved 1058, because that booster belongs in a museum.
Do not lose the worm/meatball booster.
Do not lose the, yes, it is currently the only Falcon 9 booster in their fleet with any different markings on them, including the worm and the NASA meatball. So hopefully that one sticks around for quite a while.
So whichever one you like, it's on the booster, and whichever one you dislike, it's covered in soot. So you win both ways. To answer the question, by the way, it was 1051 that was the first to get the Dash 10 there. And a quick update from SpaceX, propellant load has begun for tonight's launch. All systems and weather are currently go. So yes, it is important to note that fog, which is what you see on the bottom half of the screen there, fog is not a constraint for launch. It's flying through certain types of clouds that could cause lightning, but not fog. You don't have to see the rocket for it to be go for launch. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, the whole argument in the back channel already of worm versus meatball. I'm surprised it's not a deeper discussion in chat right now.
There has to be some kind of debate for every late night Starlink stream now. I swear.
And for once, it's not the stubby debate. This is worm versus meatball again. It's time
You
to
said it,
switch up
Sawyer.
the
You
debate.
said the S word, not me. You mentioned it first. Here we go.
I'm switching up the debates, okay? We've had enough of the stubby versus non-stubby recently. We need to argue about something else. All right. Along those lines, Ryan, Chaz, and DFW with the 29-month Capcom member milestone, which, thank you, Capcom put above. You get access to the Discord. Ryan needs to answer, meatball or worm?
That's a tough one. I'll probably get yelled at no matter which one I pick.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like both equally. Is that wrong to say, though?
Very.
That's such a cop-out answer. Come on.
Oh my god. All right. We'll go with meatball. I'll go with meatball.
Yes. Team meatball. I love it. That's what I voted for in the poll that just went up for best logo. I guess it's a logo. Anyway, thank you for the support as well there, which we got some support hours before the stream even started. I do want to address those. Dirk Dawn, thank you for becoming a PadRat member. Felix, thank you as well for becoming a PadRat member, along with Steve. Infinity Tech, thank you for becoming a Red Team member. Philip Shiner, or Shinner, I apologize for pronunciation. Thank you for becoming a Red Team member. And then Joe Kang is saying that I'll give Ryan his first question. Are you ready for his 6-month Capcom member milestone question?
I'm ready.
All right. How much more work needs to be done on Slick 40 for it to be ready for crew launch following the installation of the arm? Speaking of those who don't know, there's an arm on there now, right?
Oh yeah, they got a nice new arm on there. Max got some really good shots, and we also got some nice pictures from SpaceX earlier this night. So
Yeah, so what do you think then in terms of what's left? I mean, there's still some certain things that need to be answered about the pad itself, not just the tower, right?
Um, I don't really know 100% what needs to be left. They probably still need to install the escape system to get off of the tower, like they have at 39A, where they have little baskets that they roll all the way to the edge of the pad. We don't really know what the full escape system is going to be on this one. We'll have to see what happens when they develop it. But as you can see here, it's a nice shiny new crew access arm on that tower. That looks just like the one on 39A, all lit up and everything, all hooked up and ready to go. So.
And the most impressive thing, I think, is the cadence. Because keep in mind, all these pictures that you're seeing, the SpaceX ones, this gorgeous shot from Max as it was being installed, this is all in between launches here. Like you saw in that other picture, the Falcon 9 that is on your screen live on the right half was in that photo of them. Oh, yeah, there it is. See, just look at that. Crew access tower, crew access arm that's been put up in a matter of months, and all of this while launches are still ongoing. That is very impressive. And you say just a little ride in the baskets. Those go about 60 miles an hour, so it's going to be a heck of a little ride.
I mean, compared to orbital velocity, it's nothing, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
That is... All right, fair point. I'll give you that point, Max. I'll give you that one. I'll rescind one of my pun tokens that I had saved up for this stream just for that.
Oh, thank the Lord. Phew.
On that, maybe. All right. Remember, if you have any questions for us as well, you don't just have to do it through support. You can tag us at NASA Spaceflight in chat, and we will do our very best to answer as many of them as possible. Let's see here. Let's get a question in from apologies on that. There we go. We have Xavier asking any ideas on what SpaceX will do with the Falcon 9 booster once it reaches a point where it can't fly anymore. Max, what are you thinking?
Can you what was the question again? Sorry, I was looking at the cameras.
Once we finally find the number of, all right, we're going to cut it off at X number of flights per booster. What do you think they do with it?
I guess that really depends on really how they find out what the limit is, whether it be an in-flight failure or a failure just before landing for some silly reason, or after a flight they find so many cracks, micro cracks in the fuselage, or the engines are just too tired, whatever it may be. I'm not too sure. Hopefully, whatever booster they do opt to retire, they have actually been putting some old Block 4s out on display for some museums lately. So, I imagine it's tough to say because while it would be nice to say that they wouldn't scrap it, because that's just kind of a sad thought, honestly. But scrapping could be an option. But if it was, say, 1058, the only one with the NASA logos on it, depending on how that one has been deemed to be retired, that one hopefully would be sent off to a museum for display. So, it really it just all depends on how they deem the booster being ready to be retired or not.
The other thought was that I had maybe they go for an expendable version. Fly it on a flight as an expendable.
And that's what happened, I think, 2 or 3 times last year too. They very well could just launch it and throw it away. But who knows at this point? Hopefully not, because it is quite sad to see a Falcon 9 leave and never come back.
Yes. Don't go. Let's see. Question here from Musical Wolves, name we see quite often, asking which pad has a faster turnaround, 40 or 39A? And Ryan, I don't think there's much of a competition right now.
No, 40 has a much faster turnaround time. It's about half. The fastest turnaround they've ever done on pad 40 is 3 days, 21 hours, and 41 minutes. That was from Galaxy 37 to Starlink Group 6-8. And 39A's fastest was 8 hours, 19 minutes, and 8 days, 19 hours, and 20 minutes from Crew 7 to Group 6-12. So 40 is like double the time. I would say half the time to refurbish. I meant to say is a better way to say that. So yeah, 40 is a lot faster.
And
Yeah.
Pad A as well is the only launch pad at the Cape right now capable of launching both Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. So the transporter erector and the pad base had to undergo modifications in between each rocket to be configured for each. So Pad A has a lot more variety of views compared to 40. And what makes the crew tower construction at 40 even more remarkable is that while it only took maybe a month and a half or 2 months from the first segment being stacked to the crew access arm being attached, the pad remained operational even with this high cadence. So, Pad 40 is the busiest launch complex in the world right now, which is remarkable.
Yeah, and a reminder also that 39A is the only one currently that can launch both Crew and Falcon Heavy. So it's got to be able to accommodate 2 different rockets and 2 different configurations.
Correct. Absolutely.
Eric Beavers, extremely generous in chat here with 50 gifted Red Team memberships.
Holy moly.
Yeah, I don't even have the words for that. My goodness gracious. Thank you so much. If you got one of those gifted memberships, please make sure you give Eric a thank you on that one. And we can't thank you enough because it's people like you who help support the stream that allows us to bring you these live launches and live visuals like this. And on top of that, it gives more people access to some of the really cool content that members get. Some of the full-res photos from Starbase, occasional random videos from Max and I out in the field. A lot of good stuff there. So, thank you, thank you. We have, let's see, a lot of arguments still about the logo. John Garner saying, I love meatballs with 6 months Red Team membership. And then Eric Spittle saying, I can't believe how wrong meatball people are. Back to back there. So. And then Ron Stream saying, hey, g'day guys, can y'all fix the camera picture? Got half the bottom black screen, only see the top of the Falcon 9. Yeah, the fog will do that. So, yeah, that is all fog. Mother Nature deciding to make it a little hard for us to see here with our cameras, at least.
Yeah, we weren't joking when we said 90% humidity. I genuinely thought it was something wrong with our broadcast camera at first. But then I took a look through my own 600 millimeter lens at the pad, and sure enough, the fog is blocking about half the rocket. So, while that may be obstructive now, that might make for some pretty cool visuals to lift off. But I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yes, it's either that or someone decided to put a cape at the cape. Alien Vibes suggesting maybe it's a cloaking screen by a competitor. So, you never know. Except we do know. It's fog. We are coming up now, T-minus 21 minutes. It'll be interesting to see if we can see a certain vent coming up about 40 seconds from now through the fog. Max, first off, what's that vent and what do you think?
So, as we call it, the best vent coming up is SpaceX purging and venting liquid nitrogen through the transporter erector strong back to prepare these said fuel lines for liquid oxygen loading into the second stage, because the last thing you want is to thermally shock your fuel lines with super cold cryogenic liquid oxygen. So, and the result of that vent, actually, right on cue, there she goes.
Beautiful.
There she goes, and that vent is a result of SpaceX purging the strong back. So, the vent is also a very good indicator of what the weather is doing. And tonight, as you can see, it is just flowing pretty much straight out. I think that looks like it's flowing south from here. Over here at the KSC press site, there isn't a breath of wind. The flag over by the countdown clock is completely limp and dead. So, and as the cloud coming out from the strong back now looks very chill, pun intended. I promise you that was not intended. I promise that was not intended. Oh my goodness. But tonight, yeah, as you can see, it's flowing out nice and smooth, and it is flowing pretty much as the atmosphere allows it.
There you go. And as mentioned, that is our favorite event. That is also the perfect indicator of where we are in the countdown, as you saw on the screen, differentiating between the flow of RP1, or Rocket Propellant 1, which is a refined form of kerosene, into the second stage. And you will tell that once that vent stops at about T-minus 16 minutes, that second stage LOX load has begun. That is liquid oxygen, or as we like to call it here, LOXygen. That is both currently being loaded into the first stage of the vehicle as well. Let's see, we have Blushy Boy, thank you for becoming a Red Team member. Bloodhound saying that this is my first launch in person. Enjoy. Hopefully you're all prepped up and ready for that. And then Ian asking, what's your favorite item in the store? Need ideas? Well, I'm glad you asked. As the music indicates, we have the perfect options for you, especially now during Christmas time, as we have our fantastic Christmas merch at shop.nasaspaceflight.com. You can hear the music, and you'll get to see the gorgeous designs. There you go. There is the cape-based one, too. You can see the Crew Dragon on there, some of the spacesuits. It's got the solar panels, the radiators, and this is all knit we're talking about. And we're not talking like fake knit. This is good knit stuff here. So you've got the knitted sweaters you can see there on the right. We also have those for your Starbase lovers with our Christmas tree Raptor. And then we also have the Mars sweatshirt. And if that's not your deal, you like beanies more, well, we have knitted beanies as well. With that Raptor Christmas tree, you've got the Mars base one, and then I personally am a fan of the one that has the heat shield tiles from Starship on it. That's just me personally for the beanies. All of this, again, at shop.nasaspaceflight.com, and a reminder that you can order up until the 20th of November for guaranteed Christmas delivery. You can, of course, keep ordering well past that, but if you want it guaranteed by Christmas, 11/20. If maybe merch isn't your thing of wearing it and you want to display it, we have the streak shot that Julia got from the most recent Starlink. That is Starlink 6-26, a gorgeous view south of the launch, and an absolutely stunning image there with the reflection of the water. You've got the boat in there too. All of this, again, shop.nasaspaceflight.com. And a reminder, that metal print will now be pinned in chat, so you can check it out yourself right there. Thank you for that great question, by the way. I always try and find those smooth transitions there.
You nailed it, Sawyer. You nailed it.
Yay! Thank you. I'll take it. Dr. Isbane, Ryan, I'll put this question over to you, asking, will this be viewable from the East Coast? Or I'll just put it generically, what's the trajectory for tonight?
Well, the trajectory for tonight is heading southeast toward a 43 inclination degree orbit, which will be around 530 kilometers circular orbit once it gets up there. You'll probably be able to view it from most parts of eastern Florida, like southeast Florida and maybe the Bahamas. Not exactly sure the viewing in like northern Florida or more north of that, but it's heading south-southeast, and will splash down. Well, the variant will splash down, and Bob will pick it up, and it'll land on, just read the instructions, 629 kilometers downrange. So
there you go. And then that second stage, they will put that onto a guided destructive re-entry, which if you're along the Cape of Good Hope, anywhere along South Africa, around Madagascar, that area, you should get a good view of second stage burning up as well. Great question. I know a lot of people are waiting for launch to the northeast. So, Max, for our friends who are up north that want to see SpaceX launch, when is the next northeastern launch?
Oh goodness, it's been a while since we've had a rocket fly northeast, hasn't it? My goodness. So the next, it was Crew 7, wasn't it? And before then, like with all these Starlinks going southeast now, nothing else goes northeast except trajectories toward the ISS. So, speaking of the ISS and northeast trajectories, the next Falcon 9 to fly in that direction will be CRS-29, targeting liftoff at 8:28 p.m. on the 9th of this month. So only a couple days from now. And those are the most spectacular, in my opinion. From that trajectory, you should have a great view up north from Daytona Beach, Jacksonville, or I think even southern parts of Georgia as well should have a pretty good view. It is quite rare to see a rocket fly that way nowadays.
From what I've heard, it's even up through the Carolinas and a bit north of that on occasion, depending on where you are in terms of MECO, main engine cutoff, and how low the trees are on your horizon and how dark the skies are. But yeah, that is just 2 days away. So, Max, be prepared. I will be out there, so expect real-life puns that you can't mute before.
Oh, goodness.
You're welcome. And along those lines, I guess that goes along with this question from Solid Tank. Ryan, I think you should be able to help with this one, saying, when is the next time a capsule will do a re-entry like Crew Dragon did back in September? So what's the next capsule that will be re-entering as well?
Let's see here. The next capsule that will be re-entering... I'm actually trying to remember what's up there right now.
It's actually one that isn't even up yet, right? It's the one going up in 2 days.
Yeah, it should be the one up going in 2 days. CRS 29 should be the next one that re-enters. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, those only stay up for about 30 to 45 days or so, whereas the Crew Dragon capsules tend to stay there for about 6 to 7 months. So this one will be a lot quicker coming down, and it's basically the same capsule. A Crew Dragon and a Cargo Dragon can be interchangeable. The main difference is that one of them is great for experimentation, supplies, even has a freezer on board, both to bring ice cream up and experiments down. The other has to keep meat bags alive. So, yeah. What's also really impressive, and I know you were out at the port recently, Max, to see 1058 come back, but just as impressive, I mean, there was 2 boosters there at one point. Just read the instructions, which is out tonight, had quite a turnaround here, huh?
It was in and out, and I want to say under 12 to 18 hours, which is remarkable. And I think that is what's going to happen all of next year, given the targeted cadence. I remember not that long ago, actually, right around the time of Demo Mission 2, the drone ship would come back in, and the booster would sit on the drone ship for maybe 2 or 3 days, sometimes longer, before crews put the cap on the crane on top of the booster and picked it up and pulled it off. Whereas nowadays, they have it down to where the booster is off the drone ship typically in 2 to 4 hours, which is crazy to think about. Because I don't live that far from the port, so whenever I miss a booster coming back into port, I think, I have some time to hop over there and grab some pictures of it while it's still on the drone ship. But more often than not, once I do find my way over there, it's already been picked up and moved. And of course, once that booster is clear and they have the octograbber reset and everything ready to go, it's ready to go back out into the Atlantic to support another mission. So, just read the instructions was in and out in a hurry this time around.
Yeah, it used to be, again, same thing. When I would go out for a launch, you'd be like, oh, cool, the booster's out there. If it's too cloudy one day, I can wait a day and get a better picture, things like that. Now it's, nope, you don't really catch it coming in the port. Keep an eye on Space Coast Live, because there's a very good chance by the time you get there, it's already lifted, flattened, and on a truck ready to go back to fly again.
It's almost like you blink and you miss it, and that's basically where SpaceX is at nowadays.
It's a well-oiled machine.
Exactly, and you need that if you're going to get to that high of a launch cadence too, right, Ryan?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Let's see, we have a couple more super chats here that I want to address. Oh my gosh, this is a lot of controversy all at once here. Shadow Gunner 66, weird to have Vandy views at the Cape. Worm is better. Thanks for all the great streams, and pun token for Sawyer.
Hey.
Yeah, I think the pun token is probably the most controversial thing in that sentence at the moment, but yes.
You know, it's funny. It makes me twitch a little bit whenever somebody says, "Oh, it looks like you brought some Vandy weather over to the Cape." It's just like, like I twitch a little bit because normally weather here is phenomenal for launches. Well, more often than not. Well, at least more often than not, we can actually see them on the launch pad. You know, cough, cough, Kevin, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I love the pun token. That's
the pun token just appeared on screen, so it's in my bank now. Sorry, Max.
Oh goodness.
But yeah, everyone keeps talking about the worst coast, Vandenberg over there on the West Coast. You know, obviously East Coast, West Coast, but yeah, it hurts. The only time I think it was ever really a fair comparison was what was that? 44.
Oh gosh,
USSF 44.
That was, USSF 44 in November of last year. My goodness. That was the worst fog I've ever seen here in Florida. Even from here over at the KSC press site over to pad 39A, you couldn't see over the water. It was remarkably thick fog. I remember I was on top of the VAB roof for that mission, and we thought maybe 20, 25 minutes before launch, we had a great view of the top of the Starship Tower and the Lightning Tower at pad A just sticking through the fog, and we thought we were going to have the images of the century. And then maybe 15 minutes before launch, this wall of fog just completely washed over the VAB, and we never saw launch. I think for more than maybe 2 seconds once it got really high up into the sky, unfortunately. So, yeah, there's a bit of eye twitching whenever somebody mentions that mission. And to add insult to injury, that was the very first Falcon Heavy in over 3 years at that point. So everybody was super excited, and there was a ton of people out here to go see it, and nobody saw it who was over on this side. The people who had the best view of it were actually on the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station or somewhere in Cocoa Beach, because there was nothing but fog over in this direction. So that's still a bit of that's still a bit of a sore spot for some people.
I caught
myself included.
I got 3 images that entire launch. The sound was phenomenal, but 3 pictures of the entire launch for that one. That was rough. And then 44 is just a bad number for space flight with NROL 44.
Cough. The one Delta 4 Heavy in 2020.
NROL.
Yes, that one especially hurt, but we don't have to talk about that one right now.
Yes, I did have GoPro footage, I think, at one point Alex was talking about in the back channel. It was actually my phone, I think. I'd set it up on the window of the building where we have our little mini office there. And it rumbled it completely onto the ground. It was members' content, so I'm sure it's still on YouTube somewhere for members. We are now approaching T-minus 7 minutes and counting, which is a very significant event for the engines, as we come up on what is known as an engine chill down. So why is an engine chill down important, Ryan?
Well, engine chill downs are important because you don't want to all of a sudden thermally shock your engine and then, have it crack and break apart. You want to slowly introduce the cold propellant into it and condition the temperatures in it. And then so when it ignited, it won't instantly just start to crack and break and everything like that. It'll be able to accept the high inrush of cold propellants into it as it's firing and going. So.
Well, the other thing that we will hope is firing will be Max's camera. So, Max, I will leave you to your cameras as we approach T-minus 6 minutes here until launch. We'll give you your usual call-outs, and we'll look forward to your usual comments after the launch.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, and I will see you on the other side.
Yes, so while we have it on screen, let's take a moment to go over what we can still expect in the count. The next big thing will be at T-minus 4 minutes and 30 seconds when the strongback, that is the metal piece behind that crew tower there that is currently feeding propellant, electrical, and other things to the rocket, will lean back just a couple of degrees. That will be followed by the conclusion of propellant load, starting with the liquid oxygen at T-minus 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and the stage 2 liquid oxygen at T-minus 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And then we get to the nitty-gritty fun of the count. Right, Ryan?
Oh, yeah. Then we get to the fun count where Falcon 9 will get into startup. You'll get your tank pressurization going. And then you'll get a go no go pull through SpaceX, and then light the engines and off she goes.
That is what we're hoping about 5 minutes from now. While we have a moment, then, I do want to thank some more people for their extremely generous support tonight. Richard Cochran with the 20 Great British Pounds, saying Rocket is a few days late for fireworks night, but never mind. I think it's staying away from those fireworks for now, down in Starbase. But soon, hopefully the fun will be at the Cape with Starship launching out of there sooner than later, fingers crossed. Robert, thank you very much for the support. No message, but still greatly appreciated. Boom Medi, thank you for becoming a Padrat member. Terry Reed, thank you for becoming a launch director, along with Russell Thrasher, both launch director members, some of the highest levels of support that we have here on NASA spaceflight. So greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for all of that. And for those who don't know, again, anything that's Capcom or above said level, including Launch Director, you get access to our members-only Discord. So make sure you join if you get to that point. Justin, 9 months as a Pad Rep member, saying, love NSF, excited for y'all's coverage of SpaceX IFT2. So are we. Mid-November can't come soon enough, I think. Johnny Nielsen, Starlink 4-1 also had a case of morning fog. Chill out, dudes. Put on the sweaters. Very appreciate the wordplay there. Nicely done. By the way, you can see there that the Strongback has now retracted those couple of degrees. You can see a little bit of venting even coming out from underneath those fairing halves as we approach 3.5 minutes. And then Jeff Rowe, thank you for gifting a Red Team membership. Sheriff Tracy, thank you for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. And then I have a question that I will save for after launch for you, Ryan. All right?
All right.
Cool. Make sure you're brushed up on your best aircraft and your thoughts on ground systems. No pressure. As mentioned before, coming up now, T minus 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Helps when you say words right. As we are coming up on the conclusion of some of that propellant load, the liquid oxygen. Again, the vehicle still has about another minute to go till it's fully loaded. And then, how will it let us know that it's fully loaded, Ryan?
We'll know it's fully loaded by the call out for tanks pressurized to flight level, and Falcon 9 will go into startup.
And another vent. Can't go wrong with more vents, right?
No, can't go wrong with more vents.
I mean, it may not be the best vent, it may not be a waterfall vent, but I know I could vent all day about the vents.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you not instantly groaning and trying to mute me. Thank you. I like this guy. Let's keep Ryan.
I heard that one. Come on.
Stage 1 LOX load. We have confirmation is complete. We should be getting final confirmation of Stage 2 LOX load momentarily as we now approach T-minus 2 minutes until the scheduled T0 liftoff of this mission. And this is where we get into the exciting part of the count. Ryan, how are you feeling here at T-minus 1 minute and 50 seconds?
Oh, excited, First stream, ready to go, ready to watch some Starlinks go up. Doesn't matter if it is just another Starlink mission, it's still Falcon 9, it's still spaceflight. It's always fun to watch.
You know my opinion. It's not just your ordinary Starlink mission. There's always something fun. It's always, I guess, continually record-setting in terms of the number of satellites that will be lifted, which is now over 5,000 currently in orbit. This one bringing another 23 satellites up into space. 80 seconds away now, you could see that vent that we were just discussing as we have confirmation Stage 2 LOX load is complete. The next thing will be in 2 events happening about the same time as we approach the T-minus 1 minute mark. That will be the tanks pressurizing to their flight levels, and then at the same time, we should have Falcon 9 right about now at T-minus 1 minute entering startup. That is when the onboard computers will take control of a majority of the countdown, making most of the major decisions ahead of the liftoff, which should be coming up in less than a minute. At this moment, we should also be expecting a go for launch any moment from the launch director. That's making sure all of the vehicle systems, the weather, the range, everything is clear for launch. And we have the go for launch, T-minus 30 seconds from the liftoff of Starlink 6-27. I do want to point out, yes, we talk a lot here. We will be quiet throughout the launch itself and through most of the way through Max Q and beyond. So, we will be quiet. There will be a slight delay as the sound reaches our microphones, which are quite a ways away. As we hit T-minus 10 seconds now. T-minus 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Looks like we have ignition. 2, 1, 0. And liftoff. Liftoff of Starlink 6-27. 23 more Starlink satellites going into orbit. Go, Internet Satellites V2. Go. has quite the view of it going through the fog there, lighting up the ground beneath it. And there you can see the engines lighting the plume as the vehicle passes through max Q. That is when there are the most aerodynamic forces pressing down on the vehicle during flight. You can see it powering back up, throttling up a bit, and you will start to see the plume expand as we go up, because we have 3 quick things coming up really quickly here. Right, Ryan?
Yeah, shortly we'll have MECO, and then we'll have stage separation, and that'll be followed by second stage ignition, and then booster flip around.
Yes, so for those wondering, MECO is main engine cutoff. That's when the 9 Merlin 1D engines will shut down. That will be followed, as you mentioned, by the separation of the first and second stages. The first stage, again, will be landing back on a drone ship downrange. Just read the instructions. And then SES-1, second engine startup 1, will be followed shortly after that when the Merlin vacuum engine ignites and continues to push those satellites into their intended parking orbit. That should all be starting about 15 seconds or so from now. And there you go, you can see the view on board, everything looking good so far. We apparently have MECO main engine cutoff. And we have stage separation. And then on the right side, we will look for that engine ignition. And there we go. The Merlin vacuum engine has ignited. The stiffener ring has fallen away. And now the first stage will work its way back down to Earth. That stiffener ring, by the way, is used to help the engine bell keep its shape on the way up into orbit. So once there is a thinner atmosphere, it is able to maintain its shape a lot easier. So that is why it has that ring up until it ignites at that higher altitude. And we have another beautiful tracking view from our ground cameras. We've got Max with his camera. We have the automated tracking camera as well. And a third manually tracked camera by Gage, who is doing this literally tracking with a trackpad, which is very impressive of this view here. So now we have a couple minutes here until the next major event, as we can see through the camera eye there, what looks kind of like a jellyfish effect. Why isn't that always a beautiful view? And do you know why that happens, Ryan?
It's a beautiful view. Well, it's the gases that are interacting with the light that's coming off of either the sun or even the moon sometimes. Just the particles from the gas are just the light's reflecting off of it, and it always makes a really, really cool shot.
Absolutely. And again, you see it wider up with the fact that it's either in thinner or next to no atmosphere as it continues its climb into a 200 to 300 kilometer orbit, essentially. And any dots that you see in the background there, those are just stars to give you an idea of how fast these vehicles are both going, both on the way up for the second stage and on the way back down for that first stage, which, a reminder, we have the drone ship stationed about 612 kilometers or so downrange southeast of the launch site that will be there to catch and then hopefully bring it back to port, reuse and refly the booster for this mission. Coming up on T-minus 5 minutes. What is the next major burn that is coming up?
Next major burn will be, well, they'll do second stage shutdown. And then I'm pretty sure they do a coast phase, and then they'll do a final burn after. They'll do a final burn to circularize their orbit, and then it'll be deploy of Starlink satellites after that.
There you go. And while that's all ongoing, as we hit T plus 5 minutes and 30 seconds, apologies for the slip before, you can see that we will have the first stage entry burn. That is expected to start up about 20 seconds or so from now, and is expected to last approximately 20 seconds. We say approximately as, again, it is the onboard computer that makes the decision. It's not a fixed time. It is all based off of altitude and speed. That is when it will light up some of its Merlin 1D engines and basically use fire to slow itself down. As it interacts with its own plume, you will, as we like to say, see it fight fire with fire. In the meantime, keeping it on track, those occasional flashes that you see, those are the cold gas jet thrusters. And then it looks like we should be having ignition. There we go. That is the entry burn startup. Right on time. And there is our ground camera capturing that view, the gorgeous red color that it provides right on the horizon at the Cape.
Perfect track.
Perfect
Oh.
track, yes. And it appears
Clouds
as
got in
if
the
we
way.
have the successful completion of that entry burn. Now, it will still speed up, but keep in mind the atmosphere now is about to get a lot thicker. So as that happens, you will start to see that speed decrease, as it's doing right about now on the bottom left of your screen. And by the way, in case you were wondering, that is why the boosters get sooty. It is flying through its own exhaust plume, which is liquid oxygen and RP1. It's a refined form of kerosene. Kerosene is carbon-based, and then you get the soot from those carbon burns. In just about 35 seconds or so from now, we should have the first stage entry burn beginning, or landing burn, excuse me. That will then help slow it down to hopefully touch down on the drone ship. Just read the instructions. It is currently now about 6 kilometers off the deck of the drone ship, traveling a little over 1,100 kilometers per hour. That will all slow down as we see those engines ignite. At the top of the screen there, you can still see the second stage progressing to the right of the clock there, towards the middle of the screen. Unbelievable. You're standing by now for that landing burn? There we go. We have the ignition of those burns. You can see the grid fins helping to steer it through the clouds in the thicker part of the atmosphere. Next up will be the landing leg deploy. You can see the drone ship right underneath it from the booster's point of view. Landing leg deploy. And touchdown! Another successful landing for B-1073, touching down on just read the instructions and earning that -12. And about this time, we should also have shutdown of the second stage, which is SECO 1, or Second Engine Cutoff 1. As Ryan was mentioning, there will still be another burn. It is kind of in an initial parking orbit so far, but it will be put into its final orbit for release about 50 minutes or so from now, after it completes that additional 2-second burn and then deploys the satellites. Max, that view with the fog was absolutely unbelievable. How did it look and sound from your point of view?
Well, that was beautiful. The fog absolutely added a lot of visual styling, or I guess you could say, or it added a lot of pizzazz to the launch tonight. I guess I can't think of a better word for that at the moment. But the great thing about this thick, humid Florida air on nights like tonight is it carries the acoustic energy from all 9 Merlins really well. So we heard that one really well tonight, and as it climbed up into the atmosphere, we felt it a lot more than usual, and that's all thanks to this much thicker air. But it was a beautiful view all the way up, and we had a great view of the second stage, and as you hopefully saw from my camera, a great view of the first stage entry burn as well. So all in all, it was a fantastic sight.
We did see your view of that again. That's 3 in a row, Max. You are on a streak here.
That's not down to me. That's all thanks to the weather. When the weather plays nice and the weather downrange plays nice, especially with the clouds, we are fortunate enough to see these things happen. So I don't want to take credit for that. That's all down to Mother Nature, thankfully.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't say the word streak yet. I know you have cameras still to check out.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Sorry, I had to do that. We did get some support right before and during the launch there. Marty, thank you very much for the $10 super chat. And I saved this one for you, Ryan. Anush asking, what are your thoughts on Stage 0 at the Cape versus Starbase as we look at the empty pad right now on screen? Also says that he's sure you agree the 737 is the best aircraft out there.
Well, I'll say for Stage 0, I mean, there's a lot of differences, and we don't really know what's going forward. I mean, well, we just have to kind of wait and see what SpaceX is going to do with 39A after these couple next Starship launches. And as for the 737, I'll just say it's an interesting plane to work on. That's all I'll say about that. Yeah, it has its moments.
Now, are we talking about the 737 Classic, the NG, or the Max here?
The NG here. Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
The what?
Oh,
737 next generation. Yes.
It's okay. We love your rockets, Max. We have Ryan here now for the planes. Which, also out there for the rockets, we have Julia Bergeron once again coming out with this spectacular image through the fog tonight of a beautiful liftoff of Starlink 6-27. And a reminder, once again, that we have a print from the previous launch of hers available now, brand new, in the shop at shop.nasaspaceflight.com. But, I mean, she keeps putting out all these amazing views. It's unbelievable. If you don't follow her on social media, you absolutely should. And if nothing else, you should definitely support her with that print that you see on the left side of your screen there in the shop. It's a gorgeous view. And again, anytime you get a metal print, it does go help support the photographer who took that shot as well. And there's the information for Julia up in the top right there. So please definitely go check her out if you haven't. Unbelievable. As we've seen recently, the strong back on the right side of your screen there will actually go back up in just a couple of minutes if it continues the trend that it has been recently, resetting sort of back to its position there. And what's amazing is you don't have to trust us for all of that. We have views all around Cape Canaveral quite often, 24/7 you might say. In fact, I would definitely say because we have Space Coast 24/7, where you could see views all around the Kennedy Space Center. Taking a look at the vehicle assembly building, we've got looks at 39A and B, and of course at Port Canaveral, both as the ships come in and out, and as you can see on the left side of the screen, where the boosters are then unloaded, and the ships go right back out for the next mission. Which, fun fact, the next mission will not need a drone ship, and it will not need a fairing recovery ship. Reminder, that is CRS-29. That is a resupply mission to the International Space Station. That booster will be performing an RTLS landing, return to launch site, where it will land just a few miles away from where it takes off at 39A over at LZ-1. And then there is no fairing, as it is the capsule form. So, exciting, different kind of launch coming up 2 nights around 8 p.m.-ish Eastern Time, so hopefully a more decent hour for most people to actually go see it. The current instantaneous T0 is 8:28 p.m. Eastern. We had a fantastic team here tonight. Again, everyone give a big hand to Ryan Weber. We'll call him the American Ryan as opposed to Ryan Caton, the British Ryan. So, Ryan, congratulations on your first stream under your belt, and thank you for your commentary and input.
Well, thanks, Sawyer. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you guys tonight.
A good way to shake off the nerves of that first launch, and excited to continue to hear you on more launches and continue to grow with your commentary career.
I can't wait.
And oh yeah, Max. Thank you, Max Evans, once again for rolling out into the field with the broadcast camera to get us these fantastic views and dealing with the humid air.
It was a pleasure as always, everybody, and thank you very much for coming along. And you, Sawyer, of course. Always a pleasure.
Touche, sir, touche. And then behind the scenes, we had Jay Keegan doing a lot of the heavy lifting here during tonight's stream, so a big shout out as well to Jay, joining the Pushing the Buttons, Pulling the Levers team, making some of these awesome things happen. And, of course, the triple named threat, Kevin Michael Reed, also helping out in the background there as well. And once again, a big shout out to one of our SCL and camera operators out there, Gage, for the manual track with a trackpad. So it is a literal trackpad track on the launch tonight as well, which was also happening on Space Coast Live, which I would say go check that out there next. But in the meantime, until the next launch, I am Sawyer Rosenstein. I have been your host for this evening. Thank you very much for joining us. And Max, I will see you out at the Cape. Hopefully, I will see you for that next launch, currently scheduled for November 9th, out at the Cape. Until then, have a great night, everybody. And as Das says, later, nerds.
And here we go.
We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be nominal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, with planet.
Water towers fly! Yes! Echo down to nominal.
Flight downside ST off. Say again, ST off. Off. It's orange!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage. Put that in the big bag, Jingle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?